Hello, I've come on today to make a Christmas card and I'm going to use the Imala love story stamp as well as a house on the hill and the ivy frame. So I've already stamped out the love story on some card and also on some mask because those are just boring bits, you're not going to want to see me do those, and I'm about to cut out the couple from the mask. So this is now cut out and I just need to peel it off and stick it over here. Again, that's going to probably take me a little while because it's quite fiddly. I've got my mask down. It wasn't too much of a problem actually, it was a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be. And I'm going to use the house on the hill stamp. I've cut my card down just a bit because I don't need the full thing anyway, and obviously it was easier to fit it in the press to impress if it's a bit shorter. I've positioned it where I want it and I'm going to use my archival ink to ink it up. So I've cut around the image, I've left a little bit under their feet and I'll explain that later, and I've given it some shape by cutting away some of the white edge. Also worked out that you could actually cut the umbrella off because although you've got the pole there for the umbrella, once you've coloured it in I'm pretty sure you could just blend that away into the collar, etc. So I'm just taking a black pen and I'm going to just extend this a little bit so it doesn't look quite so as if it finishes abruptly. Fine with that side. There we go, that will be fine. Oh, good news is that this fits on the card that I've chosen. I'm going to stencil through this one, which is the Imala Gorgeous Snowflake, and I'm going to use the Speckled Egg Distress Oxide. I like this one, it's sort of like a grey blue. I'm not worried about it being perfect, so it doesn't have to be the same colour all the way through, as long as I've got some colour on there. One thing I do need to be careful of is because there's a straight edge here, obviously I don't want to come over that and then create a straight edge of colour on my card, so I'm trying to stay away from the edge. Could also just move the stencil around a bit so it's a bit more random, but I'm just going to leave it as it is. Again, need to be careful down this edge here that I don't create a straight edge. Whoops. But that's okay. Now I want to try and line it up with this one. So I don't want to create that edge, I want them sort of to blend together. That's fine. I could stick the stencil down with some masking tape, but I'm not too worried because, like I say, I don't want it to be perfect anyway. Right, and then I just need to move it down so it fills up the bottom of this as well. Again, I want to sort of blend it in with what's already there. Dog hair. Okay, happy with that. Next I'm going to use the iced spruce. So I've got my blending brush, and then I'm going to use one of the other stencils. I'm going to go with, I think I might try the falling snow actually. Again, I'm just going into random places. See what that looks like. Oh, I like that. It's created just a bit of a pattern over it, which is really nice. Now I'm not going in circular motion because it, as you've seen, it moves the things and I'll end up with just big splodges. So I'm just going down these lines to create my pattern. And that is actually really cool. It kind of looks textured as well. Okay, happy with that. That's come out better than I thought as well. So that's coloured with my Copic markers. Haven't worried too much about shading because, like I say, you've got that sort of sketchy look to it, so I'm not terribly sure about the umbrella, but anyway. And obviously I've cut up between the legs so you don't have the white bit there. And I'm going to add some fluffy stuff to her hat and the collar of her coat. And I have learned that this is definitely less is more when it comes to the fluffy stuff, because you're going to heat it up. Yeah, and if you put loads on, it can become a bit gets a bit feisty, so you end up with like huge amounts of it. Now, is it going to come out? Yes, it is. So I kind of just dab it on, whereas I used to like squeeze it and then fill up the whole thing, the whole area. Now just dab it on like that. I'm going to do the same on her collar. Because when you heat it up, it all fluffs up, hence the name fluffy stuff. So if you put too much on, you will run the risk of obliterating the image beneath it. And also don't get too close or too close to it, or do it for too long, because it will discolour it to like a yellow colour, which is not very nice. I don't like yellow fluff or yellow snow. We don't want that. So I've done that bit now. So I've left this bit down here, which as I explained, I was going to add something to that. I've decided that it's going to be best to stick it down first and then add, what I'm going to do is add some like snow or ice just there. Okay, I hope that's going to be enough glue and also not too much. Obviously need to make sure that they are straight. That looks good. Then I can stick that down. So that is that there. Now obviously there is nothing to hold this embossing powder on there, so what I can do is use my pen, or if I heat it from underneath, it should work, just to help it stick a bit. So they've now got some chunky embossing embossing powder. I've got a bit on their boots, but I'm not worried about that. So I'm going to add to it anyway. And then I've just used the embossing pen, the tip end rather than the chisel, and just dotted it over the umbrella. And then I've added some of the opaque bright white embossing powder. Okay, so I've got my spots under my umbrella, and then I'm going to add a little bit to the roof. What I'll do is a line across there, and then it'll look as if it's sitting along there, if you understand what I mean. And then I'm going to take the tip end again and literally just dot over hopefully that will work. Aha, we're getting there. I've just added more snow with the pen, just to give the effect like it's just started snowing. Obviously I didn't want any on them because they're under the umbrella. I've got that chunky stuff along there under their feet, and now I just need to add my sentiment. Unfortunately, the file where I was making the sentiment has become corrupt, so I'm just going to tell you what I've done, which is I've used the Ivy frame and the Shady Lane VersaFine Clair ink and the Merry Christmas from the Time to Sparkle stamp set with the VersaFine Clair Nocturne and some clear embossing powder, and then I've die cut it with this scalloped die and raised it on some foam pads. Just to recap the Imala things that we've used, so it was the gorgeous Snowflake and the falling snow stencils, and the stamps were Love Story, House on a Hill, Ivy Frame and Time to Sparkle. I will put a link to the Imala stamps down in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, cheerio.